Hey y'all, so in a previous video, one of the things that I mentioned was I'm not a big fan of LMMS's stock plugins. So today I went online to a few different few different websites in order to explore what's out there in terms of free sounds. And I have a few that I'm going to show you today. I'm also going to show you 3 different types of sounds that you can import into LMMS and how to go about it. This is an example of what I came up with really briefly using a couple of VSTs and samples. So it already sounds a lot better than one of the earlier ones. I'll pull up that one. This is the beat example I made in class last week. Like that sound just sounds rough. Really intense. And that's just I'm not feeling it. The drums are really basic, like everything. It just doesn't sound clean. So let's walk you through how to do this. So real quick, I'm going to show you a bunch of things. So first things first, I'm going to break down our different type of audio file or audio ways that you can get instruments or use instruments into several categories. The first are sample files. So the ones you've been using so far, so over here, like instruments, these OGG, that's a sound file. So OGG is like an MP3 or a WAV or anything of the like. So these are sound files or samples. And I know you've heard samples as like someone taking something from another song. Well, the reason it's called a sample is they're taking a piece of a sound file, and so now it's a sound file. Many of these instruments are pieces, right? So like sometimes they were taken from a song, sometimes they weren't. But the bottom line is it's a piece of a sound or a sound. So thus it's a sample sound. So these are a bunch of different ones I've grabbed from this Zaytoven library. And I'll show you how to get that. So that's our first category, our samples. Our second category are VSTs. And so these are virtual sounds. What VST stands for is Virtual Studio Technology. So VSTs can be sounds or they can be effects, right? I'm actually in my graduate program going to be taking a class where I'm going to learn how to make VSTs next semester, and I'm very excited about it because I use VSTs all the time. So while sample files can be great, if you change them in the piano roll, so like if you move them up and down, sometimes they can be a little iffy because really what it's doing is it's taking the sound and then just changing the pitch on it. So it works, but not quite as well as if you had samples for every sound or for every note. Which these virtual ones sometimes do, or they run through an algorithm that makes something sound like what you want it to, but it's still a pure sound. They're not taking a sound and just altering it by pitch exactly. I'm kind of simplifying it a little bit, but yeah. Then there's Soundfonts. Now what a sound font is, if you've ever used like a keyboard that had its own library, like that was standalone, like the ones that have speakers on them, and you can like kind of flip through the different instruments in there. Let's say you were able to export all those different instruments into a file. That file would be called a sound font. So it's like you have libraries of fonts on your computer: Arial, Times New Roman, Helvetica, Comic Sans. Same idea here, but sound fonts. You can switch between different sounds in this library. So that's what these 3 different things are. I'm going to show you how to get each of them and use them in LMMS. So I've got a few links for you. So this first link here, this is Brobeats. Brobeats has a ton of great drum sample kits. And you can see in the bottom, this is the 40K Expand Bank. You don't have Expand, so don't bother that one. This is Gunna Mini Kit. I don't know who that is, but might be cool. This is the Jaden Smith samples. Christmas MIDI kit. The MIDI kits, I wouldn't mess with those yet because you don't know about, and it's MIDI. We haven't gone over that at this point. Mini kit, so this is Xavier Wolf mini kit. That sounds fine. Denzel J mini kit. Dave East mini kit. I found one of the more popular ones here is let's see, where is it? So again, I'm looking at the bottom of the screen here to see what the name is. Zaytoven. I really like Zaytoven. It's really good. That's the one I'm going to show you. There's the J. Cole mini kit. I think that's pretty popular. So if you like click on that, for instance, it'll download it. Download it. Now notice it's in the zip file, so you will have to extract it. Then what you're going to want to do when you get a sample library. So for example, I have, let's grab the J. Cole one because I've already imported the Zaytoven. So I'm going to open it, and you might have a different unzipping program than I do. But let's extract it. And the place you want to put it in is you want to extract this library into Documents, LMMS. So again, I went to Documents, and this is if you're on Windows. If you're on Mac, I'm not exactly sure where it is, but I'll show you how to find out. And and in class we can go over that as well. And then samples, and then I think you want to put them in gig. I think that's what you want to do. Yeah, so samples and then gig, and then go OK. And then click OK. Now, I don't know if I think I have to oh yeah, so that went in gig also. Okay, so it looks like I actually didn't have to put in gig. I could just put in samples. So I'm going to exit this because you have to reset LMMS for it to show up. So I'm going to open up LMMS. Now it's taking a moment to load. While it's loading, we're gonna go look at other ones. So VSTs, DSK is great. DSK has a lot of fantastic VSTs. So this is a link specifically for their piano. They're all free. So if you go to free VST instruments, they've got a bunch of great ones. So they've got dynamic guitars, the grand was the piano, they got a music box, synth drums, tech synth, guitar, choirs. They got lots of these. So feel free to get as many as you want. They're free. So I'm gonna actually, I already got the piano earlier. You heard it in that thing. So I'm actually gonna grab a different one for you guys. Let's play with Rhodes. Rode pianos are great. I like those. Assuming that's what this is. Yeah, 6 Rhodes pianos. So I'm gonna download it. Now, for some reason, it seems to think that it's dangerous. I can see that I'm on the DSK site, so I'm going to go here and go to keep. And then just like last time, I'm going to extract this. This time, I'm actually just going to extract it straight to my downloads folder for now. You can put it anywhere you want. I'm going to show you how you end up importing it in a second. All right, I got LMMS open. So I'm now going to first do the sample. So like if I go to my samples and then I go to gig, boom, I got J. Cole right here. So let's start a sample track. Or sorry, the step sequencer. And so first I'll play it with the kick that was built into LMMS. So gross, okay. Way better, right? Oh, that's got a kind of nice offbeat sound. Oh, because that's an offbeat, that's why. Yeah. So you see how easy that is? So highly suggest you get some your drum samples from one of those extra libraries because it already sounds like a million times better. All right, now let's look at adding a VST. So, we're in samples here, I think up here. Yeah, if I go here, it's instrument plugins. So in other DAWs, like if you're used to FL Studio, this is where you'd find your VSTs right off the bat. What we're going to do is we're going to use this thing called Vestige. It's a VST host. So I'm going to drag this over here to my instrument thing. And then within each Vestige, you load the VST using this green folder here. So remember, I just downloaded my, what was that thing? I downloaded that file, the DSK instrument. Which one was it again? Rhodes, there it is. And so it's the DLL file that you want to load. So I'm going to load that one in. And then, it's so nicer, so much nicer than, just to recall, this is the equivalent within our sample library that came with LMMS. Or versus. And then, of course, if I put this in here, so much cleaner, right? All right, so that's how you add a VST. If you want to add another VST in, you can. So I'll grab my piano too, just to show you it again. So Vestige, dragging it to a new track. And I load it with this green folder button. Go to my downloads, because that's where I put it. Wherever you put it will work. So let's grab the grand. I put a G major chord, I think, right? Just do a brief arpeggio. How do I make this? There we go, okay. And then I'll put my beat down over here. Make it loop. Yeah. Yeah. Simple arpeggios. Getting samples. All right, last thing I want to do, because I see we're at 13 minutes, I'm getting a little carried away. Let's get some sound fonts. So remember, these are the ones that come from like a keyboard or something like that. Oh, oops. Apparently, I didn't copy that link over here. All right, so I actually just downloaded the brass winds and woodwinds one. So I click here, and I go to download. And so that's the sample library I'm about to pull up. So if you want to play a sound font, SF2 player. So much like Vestige allows us to use VSTs, SF2 player allows us to load sound fonts. Oops. I apparently just overwrote. I didn't know you could do that in here. There we go. That's awkward. Oh well. That my piano got replaced with the sound font, but that's fine. So with the sound font, much like with that green folder thing in Vestige, I click File here to grab my sound font. And remember, I did put that in my Downloads folder. And here's my brass and woodwinds. So I've got a lot of options here. So it gives you like a lot of different sound fonts to choose from. So let's grab trumpet. That'd be fun. And some sound fonts have in this patch section have a lot of different choices to choose from within the bank. It appears this brass and woodwinds one I just grabbed has them all as separate sound fonts. And apparently that wasn't selected, so I had to click the wrench to select it. Now it's selected. In my opinion, sound fonts can be good, but I tend to prefer VSTs. It really depends on what you're working with, or if there's something specific you like. You'll tend to find instruments that you like to use a lot, and libraries you tend to like to use a lot. So with that, I think we're going to finish at about 15 minutes. Just to recall, sample libraries, we put in that gig folder. Oh, wait, sorry. I remember one more thing to show you. But before I do, VSTs, you use Vestige, and Soundfonts, you use SF2 player. Now, I promised I'd show you how to find out where your samples go. So if you go to File, or Edit Settings, and then click on this folder button, you're going to see this thing right here that says Gig Directory. No, that's not right. Sorry, you see this LMMS working directory. So remember how I went to Documents? And then I went to, this was earlier when I was extracting my drum samples, LMMS. So when you go to this, so that's the working directory. So I'm in there now. I'm in Documents, LMMS. And so on Mac, I don't know where it is, but it'll probably tell you if you look there. So samples is where you want to put your thing. So if you go into samples here, it'll show you whatever you've added into there. And then gig is where you saw I had my J. Cole one. And so that's why when I went to samples here, in gig, I can see my J. Cole one. Cool. I hope this video was helpful, and hopefully you get some good stuff in. All right, have a nice one.